Okay, your marathon PB is 4 hours and 28 minutes. You've been running for 1 year and you've got 6 months to completely focus on getting your marathon time as quick as possible. What time are you going to be aiming for? Most marathon runners take a couple of minutes off here, 5 minutes off here. They move forward really slow because they stay safe. They're in this loop where they make small tweaks, add a new session here, do a different long run. Maybe they make 5 minutes in improvement, and that feels like progress, but it's nowhere near your potential. Today, I want to talk about Raphael, a runner who came to me in mid-November, and at that point, he'd ran 4 hours and 28 minutes for the marathon. But after watching my YouTube videos and aiming high and all that good stuff, he wanted to run 2 hours and 48 minutes. And he wanted to do that in a 6-month period. That's not a joke. That's not a mistake. He wanted to, in a 6-month period, take 1 hour and 40 minutes off his marathon time. Now, I could already hear the screams. This is delusional. It's irrational. He should be aiming at something more conservative. He's going to hurt himself. He's going to get injured. But how far can we actually take him in a 6-month block? We found out last weekend. Now, I speak to my runners a lot. And we speak about the training, how the training is going, optimizing the training, races coming up. And then we talk about life, and they often ask me how the channel's going. And recently they watched the videos, and recently they saw the video that I made about Attila, who made 48 minutes on his time, on his marathon time in just a 4-month period. And they get excited by that as people who are watching. I understand how that's big progress. But they also see the comments underneath, and they see the negative comments. I was recently talking to Kenny, catching up, again, talking about training and things like that. Super positive person, and we align really well. And that's often the character that wants to be coached, because they want to remove those limiting beliefs and really go for it and do things a different way. And we started to talk about that video and the improvement gains, but then also the comments underneath. And he's been an athlete for 20, 30 years. And so he understands that when you get a comment like, oh, you've cherry-picked this athlete and he has amazing physiological potential, and then you've just taken him to 48 minutes faster. And it's about your coaching. And it's funny to see that. And from my point of view, you wake up, I guard my sleep with my life. So I get 8-9 hours sleep every single night. And then you've got 15, 16 hours in the day, and you think you have that time to be productive, to work on the things that you love, and also work on the things that you need to do. In actual fact, you quickly realize, or maybe you realize in your 30s or 40s, that you've got probably 4 or 5 hours of good energy per day. But I can't help think about those people that see something they disagree with or they don't like, and they've got the energy and the time to sit down and basically try to convince you why they cannot do the things that you are telling them they can do. For me, that is fascinating. And it's fascinating because people get offended when you tell them anybody can run sub 3 hours, which is absolutely true. But it offends them because they have tried as hard as they possibly can, or they think they have, and it's not worked out for them. Or they're way off, and they are then offended that you are calling them, and then they'll start to quote the percentages. And I often think that if they just put all that energy and put it into the training, and training in the right way, and seeking out the right advice, they'd be half the way there already. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, my favorite topic in sport is what separates the greatest of all time from that next level. Like right now in football, what separated 5 years ago Messi and Ronaldo from everybody else in that league? Everybody else in that league was gifted, talented. They were nowhere near Messi and Ronaldo in most cases. And over the years, if you look at Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Ronnie O'Sullivan, you're looking at outliers and what makes them different. And to me, it's the mentality and the mental side. Of course it is. Like, why would you want to continue to win after 15, 20 years at the very top of the sport? It's no longer about money. It's much more to do with their relationship to effort, and their relationship to the process, and their relationship to failing. But all of that good stuff leads to a level of hunger, desire, drive that most people cannot even comprehend. That fascinates me because on the flip side, you've got most other people. And most other people, most runners, are literally protecting their ego. They never go all in, because if they did go all in and they gave everything to the process and they failed, that would hurt too much. How many times do you hear runners say one of these things? I didn't follow a proper training plan. I haven't done any speed work. I'm not taking this race seriously. I've been sick recently. This isn't my A-goal race. I forgot my gels, or I didn't take enough nutrition. I only trained for the last 6 weeks because something was going on in my life. And if you scroll through social media, Instagram is perfect for this, you'll see the result, because people want you to see them successful or doing things. You'll see a picture of somebody running a marathon or running a race or crossing the finish line, or a picture with their medal. And underneath, you will see the reasons why they didn't achieve what they set out to do, or the reasons why they didn't do better. The thing about Raphael is he's already old enough, and he's lived his whole life like this, not caring what people think. So that was never a possibility for him. He was only into running for the meditation, for the productivity, for the creativity, for the clear thinking, for everything you get from running intrinsically. And when you don't care, you genuinely don't care about what people think, you are completely free. Because if you don't try, you can't truly fail, but you're actually missing out on what really counts, which is the chance to grow. And this is what Raphael, a French guy living in Finland, already too much going on there. French guy, musician, used to getting on stage, failing for years before it clicks, and also living in a country where his live for life's sake doesn't go down well with the population of Nordic countries that are all about productivity and efficiencies. So he didn't care enough what people thought in order to want to give himself an out. What I've learned about running, about marathon running, ultra running, and life as well, is that nobody cares. I say this a lot because it's so true. Nobody cares what you're doing. Your parents don't care whether you hit a certain time or achieve a certain goal. They care that you're happy. Your partner doesn't care, but he or she cares that you have tried, and they care more about your character. Ironically, for this video, if you put all your effort into something, that means risking real disappointment. And it means confronting the possibility that your very best might not be good enough. And Steve Magness's book, Do Hard Things, talks about that level of vulnerability is so frightening for people that they never put it out there. Tells you in the book that researchers call this self-sabotaging, or deliberately putting obstacles in the place so that you've got reasons or excuses why you didn't achieve what you set out to do. So that you've got that protection. I saw this all the time recently in Dubai, because you've got these type A personalities that are go-getters. What they do, it usually works because they're willing to put enough effort in for it to work. And then they're naturally not very good at running. And so when they plateau, which they do very quickly, all of a sudden that wasn't for them, or they don't have the genetics, or it's another excuse, or I didn't really train for that race. And all those things that I've just given you as excuses, they use those because they need to tell the other go-getters around them why they fell short, and that it wasn't their fault that they did fall short. Ironically, purposely under-preparing and giving yourself that out looks like that person doesn't care, but actually they care very deeply. They're just frightened that their best might not be good enough. And if you think about it, that is extremely sad. True toughness is the willingness to show up fully, to prepare as well as you possibly can, to put it out there and to really go for it and be willing to fail. I couldn't find a stronger athlete who lives by that code than Raphael. And he had run a 4-hour 28 marathon, and his goal was unfathomable for most people. He wanted to go 1 hour 40 quicker and run 2 hours and 48 minutes for the marathon. That's 4 minutes per kilometer, or 6:26 per mile. He went through halfway in exactly 1 hour 24. Massive PB for the half marathon for him, directly on course for 2 hours and 48 minutes. And tomorrow, with his permission, I'll tell you the full story.